Chapter 1. Odo, the young German operating the radio, shook his head. "I'm sorry, Ambassador Nichols, but the signal has been lost." Sharon Nichols, displaced ambassador to Rome for the United States of Europe, edged so far forward that her ample figure began pushing into Odo's incongruously wiry back. "Did Colonel North confirm that he was moving to the extraction point as quickly as possible?" Odo shook his head again. "No, Ambassador. The frequency started becoming garbled before I could send those instructions. I shall try to raise Colonel North again." As the young miller's son from Rudolstadt set about this task, Sharon's husband and de facto chief of intelligence and security, Ruiz Sanchez de Cazador y Ortiz, placed a hand on her arm. "My love, there is no cause for alarm." Sharon turned toward him, eyes bright, the smooth curves of her very dark face creased by lines of worry. "We've lost contact with Colonel North, who's supposed to meet our team when it comes out of Giovanna. A team that just happens to include my father, who promised us that he'd signal us by 1 p.m. today with a mission update. That update is already 2 hours late. So until I know that my father and my friends are with Colonel North's forces and heading back to Grantville, every second of uncertainty is cause for alarm." She turned back to watch Odo ply the various tricks of his arcane trade. Rui raised an eyebrow, but said nothing. In the last few weeks during which he and Sharon had married, fled Rome, and secreted themselves in this obscure inn near Padua, Rui had learned that although his new wife had a fiery temperament, both in debate and in bed, she was not given to being testy. She was a large person in every regard: physiognomy, sympathy, forgiveness, and passion. There was nothing narrow about her. So whereas her rebuff of Rui's reassurance might have seemed snappish to others, he knew better. He not only had intimate knowledge of Sharon, but insight accrued through 3 prior marriages and almost 6 decades of living. No, Sharon Nichols was not being testy. She was racked by anxiety, exacerbated by the fact that she herself had agreed to send her father and friends into harm's way. Odo was shaking his head again. "Still no response, Dr. Nichols, and the noise around that frequency is not promising." "Did Colonel North say where he and his Hibernians were located?" "They weren't able to report their position, Ambassador. We spent most of our clear airtime trying to establish a mutually secure code." "What? Why?" Odo seemed to shrivel before Sharon's growing tone and looming torso. Rui intervened. "Dearest, the code-checking protocols require absolute precision. If there are any missed symbols, the authentication must be deemed suspect, so with a bad signal it can take many minutes to confirm a secure transmission." Sharon collected herself. "Odo, when was the last time we had a precise location for Colonel North's unit?" 2 days ago, Ambassador Nichols. He and his men had just arrived in Silvaplana, having come down out of the Alps by way of the Julia Pass." "Then if they've been making steady westward progress, they should be near the extraction zone now, correct?" Rui saved the young radio man from his wife's desperate glare one more time. "Near to the extraction point, perhaps, but we cannot know. They could not head toward it at best speed, my love. What if the extraction was not called for until next week? Why would 2 squads of mercenaries, who are known to work exclusively for you Americans, spend a week loitering about the western end of the Val Bergaglia? I doubt even so ingenious a Spaniard as myself would believe them to simply be on an extended alpine fishing holiday." Sharon had to smile, but only a little. "Odo, try again and see if you can raise Captain Simpson's group in Giovanna." Rui prayed that anyone in Giovanna would respond this time. If they did, it would probably indicate that they had completed their mission in that factious open city and were ready to call for extraction. But Odo was still struggling with the designated frequencies, all of which sounded like monsoons of static. The legendary vagaries of radio communication to and from Alpine valleys were dominating the day. "No response on any of the primary frequencies, Ambassador. Shifting to check the emergency backup frequencies." Rui, seeing his wife's breathing increase, murmured words only she could hear. "My love, you must be calm. Your staff all looks to you. If you panic, they shall surely do so also." She closed her eyes. "I know, Rui, but it's my dad out there."